All right. So, shall we start now?
Yes, you guys can start.
Okay. Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and my co-host Falcon. I'm Srishti, and today we are gathered here for another debate between Team USA and Team UK. I will be representing the Team UK, and the participants are Rook, Starla, Mikasa, and Mani. Over to you, Falcon.
Thank you, Sri, for alienating me. Hello, everyone. Good evening. This is Falcon, representing Team USA, and along with my side, Anand, Shinigami, Shivans, and Aniket. Well, everyone is here, and we have our distinguished panel of debaters representing various viewpoints about their respective countries. And let's not forget our panel of judges will be moderating today's discussion. Sri?
So as we begin, let's hear from our judges. I would like to call Nikhil, Sir, and Moon. Hey there, guys.
Yeah, I'm here. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you for the confirmation. So first of all, good evening to all the people, especially people who are the part of debate. And first of all the best to both the teams. You have done significantly well. But now let's move forward with the judging criteria. So in the round one, first criteria is going to be the argument and relevance. That means how well articulated arguments you are having. And the second thing is relevance. So relevancy means there should be genuine points. Other than that, points should not only be genuine, but there should be some data embedded in the points. So that genuine plus authenticity of the data. After that, delivery and clarity. How your English is, what kind of delivery, is it confident or not? Or you are actually promoting your rebuttal in a very systematic manner or not? Is it a well-maintained clarified delivery or not? So these are the parts of second criteria. Third is time management. So the host is going to tell you the rules about time management. But the thing is that this debate is all about time, first of all, because each and every team, especially the participant, is going to be having only 1 minute of time for first round. So 8 minutes will be there, of course, for both the teams in total, as there are two sequences of the same hierarchy. So if one of your participants have exceeded or have not even consumed the time allotted, what that was the minimum limit for you, for example, 45 seconds, then there will be a straightforward deduction in the marks. And remember, 0.01% mark can also lead to the failure. After that, the last one is team balance. That means all the people have significantly contributed to the overall performance of the team or not. If all, for example, there are 4 people, only 2 people are speaking good valid points and 2 people haven't even spoken well, so there will be a deduction in that thing as well, because it's a team debate, not only a debate of individual person. So these were the judging criteria. Thank you.
Thank you, judges. Okay. So now, without any delay, let's move to the reviewing the format. So, first round is ping pong battle, consisting of 2 cycles, 8 minutes for each. Here, each debater will get 1 minute to respond in the following order of the participants. Yeah, Falcon.
Yes. One more thing I have to remember to you guys when you speak. Before you start your response, please state your name, whatever the representing country you are from. And then whenever you finish your speech, over to you UK or over to you US. Second, try not to exceed or reduce your time limit. Make sure each person gets 2 times to speak. Third, when the opponent finish, please come up voluntarily and then speak yourself. Don't let the host to call your names before you speak. Thank you. Sri?
Yep. And also, please remember to be respectful of all viewpoints, even those you disagree with. So now let's have a productive and engaging debate, shall we?
That's right. Now I welcome our first participant from Team USA, Shivans.
Hello. Hi, I'm Shivansh representing Team USA, and let's get one thing straight. The US calls itself a democracy, but it operates more like a club run by gangsters and monarchs, where those in power rewrite the rules where they say fit, such as shut down parliament to dodge scrutiny. Boris Johnson did it in 2019. Arrest citizen for holding a protest sign. Not my king protesters were taken away in 2023. And strip away human rights with a single vote. The Rwanda asylum policy made that happen in 2023. No real safeguard, no institutional resistance, just unchecked power disguised as flexibility. Meanwhile, the US Constitution stops this nonsense before it even starts. There is judicial review, there is separation of power, the actual mechanism to prevent the government from turning the democracy. So tell me, Team UK, is this a democracy or just a system where those in power rewrite the rule whenever they want? Over to you, Team UK.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ryuk from UK. As a proud advocate of UK Constitution, I must say the idea of codified constitution, like the one in United States, has always fascinated me. In fact, I mean, who needs one single document that lays out all of its rules when we can have a nice mix of statutes, conventions, and common laws, which serves in the best interest, like in UK. UK Constitution is as progressive as it gets, flexible enough to mold with contemporary wants. Whereas, sadly, I can't say the same about US constitutions. Rights of the woman, such as to opt for abortion, is at serious peril, and they have to find the private sources for it simply because the law is not allowing it. The Second Amendment gives them power to keep firearms, but what is this leading to? Massacres and deaths inflicted by it. That's it. It's better to have uncodified constitutions like ours, which is ready to battle out with present problem, flexible enough to cope with the issues out. Thank you. Over to USA.
Shinigami, you may start talking. Your time is running out.
Welcome everyone.
Hello,
My first, oh yeah, Aniket is
hello.
joining.
I forgot to turn off the mic. Sorry.
It's actually Aniket's chance. Yeah, Aniket, go forward. Aniket, please turn on your mic.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible. Continue.
Sorry. Hello, guys. I'm representing USA team. I'm Aniket from US team. So, guys, they talk about flexible most of because they think that flexibility is good because of they can change constitution anytime whenever they want. But they have forgotten that the flexibility has leads to more chaos in their country because of that flexibility. In 2016 to 2022, they had to change prime minister 4 times. And when the one prime minister tried to take over the country by getting judicial in their hands, but which is more flexible, not flexible than I think. But in a USA, you cannot change that easily. That you have to have majority in your favor, or people have the right to know about that thing. But in a USA, in a hello,
You're audible,
so
Aniket. Continue.
so they have.
I think our team will give the mic to Team UK now because of some network issues from Aniket's side. Team UK, you can continue.
As our opponent says about that UK shut parliament, so the UK shuts parliament, right? You mean propagation, which lasts a few weeks at most. Meanwhile, the US government anti-shutdown that lasts 4 months, leaving federal workers unpaid and critical service frozen. And let's talk about your single vote policy complaint. In the UK, a no confidence vote removes failing leaders immediately, while in the US, you are stuck with a disastrous precedent for 4 years. No matter how incompetent they are, no real safeguards, right? You talk about no real safeguards, so that's rich. Your real safeguards
overturned a 50-year-old right. If you remember Roe versus Wade, overnight throwing millions into legal chaos and judicial reviews. And yes, 9 unelected justices decided national policies for 330 million people. Don't talk about democracy. Okay, it's really funny considering your system allows president to win office without even winning the popular vote. The UK changes its constitution as needed. The US system is so outdated that it still counts slavery in its 13th Amendment. Over to Team US.
So this is
Oh
changing
yes,
me from Team
this is
US.
Anam. This is Anam from US side. So, my friend, you are talking about this democracy and instability of the US Constitution. But let me tell you, the USA codified Constitution has only 27 amendments over in the past 235 years, and that's a proof of the stability of the US's codified Constitution. But what about UK Constitution? Constantly changing day by day, and 5 major reforms is there in the last 15 years. For example, Human Rights Act 1998, Fixed Term Parliament Act 2011, most important, legal disputes. So how could you say that the UK uncodified constitution is more stable than US? Over to you, UK.
Mikasa, you're not audible. Okay, since it's not audible, I will go. So this is Mani. I'm from UK, and I think the first opponent talked about like a Rwanda policy of the UK, which was planned to deport the immigrant to the Rwanda. I think he forgot about the US. Like US is doing same thing as of now. The US is kind of deporting the immigrant to their home countries, right? So it is not about the codified constitution or uncodified. Every country is kind of supposed to make rules or laws which serve their own citizens. It is not about serving the citizen of other country, right? So that's the counter to your statement. Second thing is that somebody's talked about like UK changing prime minister 4 times in 5 years. I think that is something not related with codified constitution or uncodified. It's happened in the country where we have codified constitution, like India, where we have the codified constitution. But since if a leader is not having majority, he will be removed from the prime minister, and the one who get the majority will become the prime minister. So I think that's the general rule, and it is not something we can say happen because of the uncodified constitution, right? Other thing is somebody talked about no. So I would like to end with one thing is that democracy is supposed to serve the people, and it is not supposed to bind us with past or rules which were written 200 years back. Over to you, Team US.
Good morning. I'm Shinigami from US. I'll straight away get to the point. Judicial review has been questioned by the opponent team, specifically in Roe versus Wade judgment. But let me tell you that the feature of US Constitution's federal democracy, which is a virtue of the codified Constitution, allows the states to implement their own laws, which renders Roe versus Wade judgment even moot in a lot of states. So that adds like an additional layer of protection against despotic judgments, which might happen. And more than that, judicial review in the US system has actually given birth to a lot of gems of a judgment, like the Gideon versus Wainwright judgment, which gave legal representation to women, which adds to their liberty. Now, over to Team UK.
Okay,
This
so there was a talk.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're
Okay, this
audible.
is
You can go ahead.
okay. This is Mikasa from Team UK. As Shinigami said, the judicial review in the US often leads to gridlock rather than justice, while cases like while cases like Goodwill uh, v. Rainbow expanded rights. Uh, others others like Shelby Country, uh, v. country we hold a 2013 weakened voting protections. Then unelected judges can overturn democratic decisions, making rights unstable. In contrast, the UK relies on parliament elected by the people to shape laws, ensuring stability without judicial overreach. The Human Rights Act 1998 and the other reforms protect rights without political political deadlock. So, if judicial review is so effective in the US, then why do outdated laws and partisan rulings still create legal uncertainty? Over to Team US.
Hello, I'm Shivansh from Team USA. Wow, Team UK, congratulations. You have got a system where whoever is in power rewrite the rule the way they want, just like Munna Bhaiya in Mirzapur, that fictional character. You banned protest that made government uncomfortable in Public Order Act 2023. You gave police the power to arrest people just for being disruptive. You rewrote election rule to suppress opposition, which has happened in voter ID laws 2022. And you call this flexibility, more like a system that bends the ruling party needs. Meanwhile, in the US, Constitution says, not so fast, buddy. Government cannot change the game on a whim. Power is checked, rights are protected, stability is ensured. But hey, keep defending your system. Just don't be surprised when the next Munna Bhaiya in power bends the rule again. Over to you, Team UK.
Ryuk from UK. So there has been a lot of talk about our parliament. I want to say my opinion that UK parliament has a process involved where laws are discussed in the House of Commons and in the and they are debated and they are further scrutinized and it's passed on to the House of Lords and again it's further reviewed. So we just don't pass anything. And let's talk about what the judgment that is given by the judicial system of US. For example, Dred Scott versus Stanford, 1857. African Americans are not US citizens. This was the judgment of Supreme Court. Over to you, USA.
Aniket.
Hello, I am representing USA team. I am Aniket from USA. So my argument is that they're talking about the power, but they have forgotten that in their 2016 and 2022 till they had to change four minister, which power led to their in chaos, which caused more trouble to them because of their country got unstable. And because of that, they're just still talking about the power, which is not useful for people. People has to, they don't have much no information about their core constitution, as it uncodified constitution, where they don't even know that their basic rights. They have all scattered all around the constitution. So it's been said that it's been said that their constitution is not that only a document where nothing has been written in their document. They're just saying that power has, but most of the power has taken by by their president, main president, which can change easily judiciary. As we see on the one parameter tried to took the power by in judiciary. Over to team UK.
Oh, so only 27 amendments in 250 years proves stability. No, it's proved rigidity and dysfunction. The US Constitution is so stable that it's needed a civil war to end slavery and an entire movement just to give women the right to vote. Meanwhile, the UK abolished slavery peacefully in 833 and adapts its constitution without blush. Your so-called stable government is so fragile that it led to a violent insurrection in January 6, 2021. And let's talk about human rights protection. The US has the highest incarnation of rate in the world, private prisons that profit of forced labor, and it's the 13th Amendment loophole, and a Supreme Court that overturned abortion rights after 50 years. And you talk about stability. Your system is so stable that it's allowed a president to block a Supreme Court nominee for 293 days, then rush through another in just weeks. The UK updates law when needed. The US clings to a document written when dueling with pistols was still legal. Over to Team US.
Hello guys, I am on this side from UST. But I would like to mention, Mani has mentioned that changing the prime minister over 5 years, that doesn't any relation with the codified uncodified constitution. But let me tell you, my friend, that is the relation of that is the showing that instability of the UK's uncodified constitution. If I talk about the USA now, the protection of rights, so the USA Bill of Rights 1791 that guarantees free speech, religion, and the due process. That is understandable without a formal amendment. If I talk about UK Parliament can repeal any law anytime, including the Human Rights Act 1992. So UK suspended habeas corpus in World War II that allowed imprisonment without a trial impossible under the USA Constitution. So how could you say that? But it is not happening in the US. They cannot away from the speech, free speech, and due process. Over to you, UK.
This is Mikasa from Team UK. Frequent changes in the UK's Prime Minister reflect political shifts, not constitutional instability. Unlike the US, where outdated laws remain unchanged, the UK's inflexibility ensures rights evolve with society. The US Bill of Rights may guarantee freedoms, but only
Okay, then I guess it's our chance to speak now. Like very simply, we are the people who have come up with liberty and fundamental rights through the Bill of Rights. Right? It is our constitution which has created fundamental rights. Thank you. So like acknowledge that.
So, uh, guys, please proceed in the second cycle while giving each participant a chance to speak. Yeah, Falcon?
That was a wonderful debate, though. It was like steaming arguments from the both of teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the Civil
Okay.
War to 27
Just a
admittance.
question: did Money speak in the second cycle?
No.
No, his chance is still left.
No, we would be proceeding with the next round. So points will be deducted for that.
All right, so time is not there. Yeah, got it.
Okay, so without any further ado, yeah, Falcon. Shall we move to the second cycle?
Before we move to second cycle, judges have to decide the pair who goes against each other.
Okay.
So for that, judges may take some time to decide who gets who along with it. Meanwhile, I have something interesting to say.
On?
I have something interesting to say. When the speakers comes up with along this Civil War 27th admittance, basic rights, I'm glad there is a Munnabai also was the part of this conversation or debate.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting to hear.
Yeah, speaking of mythical creature, I want you to guys.
Don't come up with your facts. Okay, hold it.
I want you to guys go up search of Scotland's national animal. If any of you guys know, please come up with the answer in the chat. What is Scotland's national animal? Do you know, Shri?
Okay, well, to be precise, it's because they are well too informed, developed, and they do have a vision. So even it's mythical, hypothetical, they are well aware. They have reached to a point where they're secured of all the wars, So in a way, if you see, that's a positive side of UK.
Do you know the answer? What is Scotland national animal?
Okay, tell us.
It's unicorn.
Okay. Thanks
It's,
for this awareness. Yeah. Haha.
yeah, that's a mythical creature. It's a unicorn is the national animal of Scotland.
I have given the explanation already, so people may be aware of that, you know. Okay, I don't have anything to say for USA. I tried, but they are already so highlighted nowadays. So no facts, just the wars. Okay.
Why don't you go tell us your lame joke, one of your lame joke?
Okay,
Don't come up with a Lamborghini joke. I'll really kill you.
Hey, those are interesting. I can ask people. They will certainly support me. That's funny. You just have dead humor. I can't do anything about that.
Go on. Tell us one of your jokes. Let us hear.
Okay, wait. I might afraid people will be bored, but I'll be trying out the jokes. Okay, let's see how it goes. By the way, what was the Lamborghini one? Can you remind?
Never mind. You keep thinking of your Lamborghini joke. I come up with the first two pairs. It's Anam and Ankit versus Mani versus Mikasa. I repeat, it's Anam and Ankit, and Mani and Mikasa from UK. The first pair.
Okay, let's proceed now.
And the second round will be Shinigami and Shivans versus Starla and Rogue.
Yeah, we shall ask for. Guys, are we clear?
Yeah, it's clear to me.
Okay, let's start then.
Yeah, in the round two, it's a pair match. As you guys know, the judges have decided two pairs, and then the round is also consistent 2 cycles, each lasting for 15 minutes. See? See?
Just a sec.
You there? Okay.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's right. And here the beginning would be from Team A by asking a question in 20 seconds. And Team B has to answer and counter with their own question in 70 seconds. And the pattern continues until the time's up. Yeah, Falcon?
That's correct. It has the same sequence as a cycle 1, except Team B has to initiate by asking questions in 20 seconds. Please do consider some rules. Here our team earns bonus points, or both members contribute equally, work well together, and the team loses points, one interrupt each other, either that team or opposite team. See?
Yeah, perfect. So now, that's my favorite line to say actually. So now, stage is set, arguments are ready. So Falcon, what do you say?
Sure, let's open the gate and let them fight.
Okay, guys. Yeah.
So my dear USA team, a UK team, I'm Anam from US. So my question is to you, the absence of in the uncodified constitution, the clear constitutional process lead to your legal dispute. But in the US, with a flexible structure and avoid such a chaos. So my question to you, if flexibility is advantage, why did Brexit cause so much legal confusion? Over to you, UK.
Okay, responding to your question, you said like flexible U.S. Constitution. U.S. Constitution is not flexible because it is codified. Talking about the flexibility, it comes with a cost. But the thing is, we have to see the pros and cons. Like it might sometimes create the confusion. But the thing is, look at what pros it is bringing. The thing is, society is evolving, and with time, the rules should be the laws which govern the society should be also evolving, right? Like for example, in India, in US we have a kind of rule, a gun rule. Like every person is allowed to have a gun, but that creates a lot of violence. But still, the US is not able to change the constitution, and the violence is continuing, right? So that is one of the disadvantage of not having the flexibility. My question to you is the same question: why US is not able to change the gun law, even though it is creating so much violence, so it is killing so many people in the country?
First of all, Mani, might be you didn't understand my question particularly. I was saying the flexibility. I was not saying about the USA flexibility. I was saying UK's flexibility. Otherwise, you didn't answer my question. So if I answer your question about the gun laws, so definitely there must be gun laws in the some state of the US. They allows the gun ownership, and some state don't allow the gun ownership. As you can see, there are a lot of immigrants are coming from the Canada, from the Mexico, and there's more than 60% crimes are happening in the USA because of the migrants. So because of their safety, every individual must have the gun laws. So my question to you, so how can you guarantee individual rights if you are not focusing on the individual rights? If Parliament can easily revoke any time any law. So please answer my question.
Ma'am, please repeat the question from my side. It was your voice breaking so much, that's why.
My question to you, like, how can you guarantee individual rights as you are not focusing on the individual rights? When parliamentary supremacy is there, they can change anytime, any law. People, in their people's mind, there are a lot of confusion regarding individual rights. So how could you revoke their individual rights?
Wonderful question. I fully understand your point, but flexibility in UK's constitution actually ensures stronger protection of individual rights. The US claims to protect rights, but in reality, its outdated laws create inconsistencies. You mentioned gun law. Some states allow gun ownership, while others don't, which leads to legal confusion and ineffective regulation. The fact that gun violence remains a major issue in the US proves that a rigid constitution does not necessarily guarantee safety or stability. Meanwhile, the UK's flexible system allows Parliament to adapt laws based on societal needs. For example, the Firearms Act 1997 was passed swiftly after the 𝙍𝙬𝙗 massacre, effectively tightening gun control and reducing firearm-related crimes. In contrast, the US struggles with mass shootings because of its inability to amend outdated laws. Additionally, the argument about migrants and crime is misleading. The US Constitution does not address modern immigration challenges efficiently, leading to legal uncertainty and political deadlock. The UK's Parliament, however, can swiftly update immigration laws when needed, ensuring both security and individual rights. If the US Constitution truly protects individual rights, why do issues like mass shooting, racial discrimination in law enforcement, and inconsistent state laws continue to threaten personal freedom?
Yes, Aniket, go ahead.
Hello. So as she has said that our constitution has been outdated because it's been 230 years since it had been encrafted, but it's still holding the country together. I think that's very important for any constitution to hold the country together. As we have seen that most of the countries would fall if their constitution doesn't work with imply with their people's freedoms rights. That's what happened in 2016 2020. They had to change 4 prime minister because they knew that because they didn't have much power to overlay it, and because of that they were going on to changing prime minister over and their president. Sorry. So as we have seen that because of their new constitution which they call flexible, which only leads to chaos and more chaos. and which people didn't know. People don't even know there where they can find their all rights. You can like just state me where can they find their all rights? Like there is no written constitution which we can access and have the look where all the simple rights are of citizen. And they, when they see our gun rights, because it has implied, because it has been 230 years since we have been given rights of gun, because our country wasn't there first, it had been migrant from so many people. So because of for protecting our family, it was very necessary to have the gun, otherwise we would have been killed by them, because it was an open city when it was just building in a new way. So how can they say that that their constitution is just providing the main things that they just despite having power, they just try to overreach the judiciary and other things in there. They would try to take our freedom from the people, because of that they have got too much power in their in their president's way. So the question is that how, so since the parliament can override any, since the you so the my question is that
Okay,
so how
let
can
me
they
answer. I don't
so how
know,
can we
maybe there's some sound is breaking from your side. So let me counter the question. One of your teammates said that for their safety, they are allowed to have the gun. That's the reason they are allowed to have the gun. And if you are, I mean, when you are giving this statement, you are saying that the US government has failed to secure or provide safety to their citizen. That's mean the US Constitution has failed, right? So I don't know why you said that. Other person said that it was the gun right was given because initially they had some risk, and to protect them, the gun right was given. But now they're not having risk, but still the gun right is there, and they can't modify it because it is codified. That's the problem of codified constitution. It is not flexible to, which is not evolving with the society, right? It is still 230 years back. Rules are there in the constitution. So that's the problem. Another, talking about the individual rights, you mentioned that individual right is, there's a confusion because individual right is changing in the UK constantly. I mean, it should change because if you look at 230 years back, women were kind of oppressed, and according to that, individual rights were designed, and the women were given more rights, more laws to protect them. But now the same law is being against the men. So those laws should be updated, and that is possible only if we have the uncodified constitution. That is not possible in case of codified constitution. So how do you think you will able to update the codified constitution according to the society needs, according how the society changes?
Okay, very good question. Thank you so much, Mani, for asking this beautiful question. But I would like to answer your question in a beautiful way. First of all, let me tell you why codified constitution is the best constitution, and here there is a less corruption, and who provides and give the priorities to individual rights, because an USA president cannot change the constitutional rules to benefit them, which they are not finding less the more corruption in it. But in UK prime minister rules parties can revoke any laws and stay in the power, which increasing the corruption. For example, in 2019, Boris Johnson attempted to suspend the parliament to it without any opposition. So how could you ensure that in the UK uncodified constitution is the best constitution, and there is happening less corruption? There is a more corruption, and they are also not thinking about the individual rights. So my question to you.
Okay, so talking about your answer, right, that the uncodified constitution has a lot of corruption and codified has less corruption. I think this codified and uncodified has no relation with having a corruption. There's a lot of country who has a codified constitution and still have corruption, like Russia and China, and still have the human right violation. The corruption and total equal rights to citizen comes from the institution and kind of democracy and how the law is being implemented, right? It's not about like it is codified or uncodified, right? So corruption can be anywhere if the laws are not being implemented in the right way and people are not following the rules, all those things. Yeah. So saying that just because somebody has uncodified, they will have a lot of corruption. Let me give you an example. the Israel, UK, and New Zealand had uncodified constitution. And if you look at this country, they are the best country in terms of democracy, in terms of ruling. Their citizens have the best rights as compared to there's a lot of other countries I mentioned which have codified constitution, but they still have a lot of corruption, right? So my next question to you is it not it better to have a system where laws can be updated easily rather than being stuck with outdated provisions?
So as Mani said that it's better to have loud update, but I think they have forgotten that we have amendment system where we can amend anything which is necessary for as of our century. So we have amendment where in 1920 when the women protest that they want to give a right, they want to have right of voting. So we amended in that that amendment with majority of including all the humans, they cannot give their rights. And when it's what about the removing the racism against the other people who are from different country in their own country, so they amended the new in their constitution about the removing racism permanently, but they haven't done it yet because in amendment you need to have long process which is very good in a long term. If it is about like flexible, as we see in the UK, US, UK, that they can change flexible and change any law. They if you want to import any law from any other source, as they are in the 21st century, they can just add new law. But I think that law can cause more damage in long term, as we see in that having power so much in a president way, they had caused only more chaos in their own country. They had to face 6 ministers to change in 2016 to 2022, and as we have in our country USA, the amendment process is very rough process, but it's very good in a long term because it choose to have long term process and get good result in a long way. Otherwise we could have faced so many challenges if we couldn't have that much power. But having that constitutional amendment process which makes everything more rightly, but it may take time more, but in the end it gets everything done. As I said that the human giving rights to human in 1920, we gave the amendment and passed that rules in the constitution. That's why we have in our constitution. And the question is to the USA that how can they accessible their, as I seen that in the UK, they don't have any political constitution in our country, and they talk about their different like some other country that they have constitution, but your constitution updated. But if I want to access something about freedom of speech rights, but then I have to go through all kind of documents in their country because they have all different kinds of their own judiciary, and we have to gather all documents. So how can they say that the uncodified constitution is good, and where codified constitution we get everything that basic rights are being expected in front of people, which is very useful for people because if they want to know their rights. So I think I think that's my question: where can they access all their documents which are the essential for a public to they are living in their own country? So
Mr. Renegade, first and foremost thing, you are the one who is accepting that your constitution is really a long and rigid one, but if you and about the UK's uncodified constitution, it's the flexible one and
we are done
flexible.
with the time.
Okay.
Hello.
Guys, please maintain the time limit and please do consider it for the time given part. The second round, Team E has to start with the question in 20 seconds. Please initiate the question, Team UK.
Okay, Yuk from UK. Women have been adopting more unsafe abortions right after Dobbs and Jackson. So can we say that US Constitution is less responsive to women's reproductive rights?
The answer is a blatant and a clear-cut no, and I'll tell you why. The reason is that there is a very big misconception in the minds of people, and especially the people from UK, that all of our states have limited the women's autonomy to abortion, and that they cannot abort and it's criminalized. But that is not the case. Roe versus Wade judgment was still one of the world's first judgments, to recognize the woman's right to abortion. Okay. And even right now, when the judiciary has read down the judgment, there are states in our US in which you women can go and they can get abortion. Why is that so? It's because we have a federal structure which can only be existent in a written constitutional model, and that structure allows the women to have such flexibility in our polity. Now, my question to you is very simple, very simple. I'll start by quoting Lord Acton. Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. A written constitution is a chain on that power. When you consider your model, UK Parliament is seen to be despotic. What do you think?
No, we don't have any problem like that. UK's Parliament is absolutely fair and right. We pass progressive rules which are based on our urgencies. Both of our houses are involved, and it's further debated, and so it's passed in a very rightful way. And you didn't answer my question properly. The abortion, due to those things, you said that they will travel to another states. I'll say that due to that, the women are facing financial constraints. And I'll also highlight one more thing. In the UK, we have under NHS Act 1946, healthcare service is free for women, even for the maternity purposes. But in the USA, it's not at all free. They have to take the money out of their own pocket. Like you have to do abortion, and even to do that abortion, you have to take the money from your own pocket. Even raped women can't do that. And even the minors are not allowed to do it. So my question for you is, as the many esteemed sources like WHO and Amnesty International have directly pointed out in the failure of United States as a whole in the protections of right of a woman in Roe versus Wade case. So do you think this is a failure?
I'm so happy that you pointed Amnesty International and you said progressive rules. Oh my God. I'll tell you the progressive rules which the British Parliament made. The British Parliament passed Public Order Act in 2023, which bans or severely limits all the protests in the country. Okay. To which the same Amnesty International, which you mentioned, said that this act is an assault on human rights. Okay. So this is the constitution you're trying to defend. Okay. And this further is a proof of the statement by Lord Acton that a written constitution is actually a chain on such despotic powers. Okay, now let me try to answer one of the questions which you tried to raise. I think you're just confused about women's rights and all of these things, but let me tell you that we are the people who have always upheld individuality, and this pro-life and pro-women's autonomy debate, we have the ones who have given it a shape, because we not only acknowledge the individuality of a human, but also that of a child. Okay, so that leaves it to the states to determine that thing. Now, my question to you is very simple. A nation without a written constitution is like a ship without a compass, said by none other than B.R. Ambedkar. And this is in direct consonance with the US, with the current quality of the UK, in which you've had PMs for less than 49 days. That's just a joke. Where is the political stability in that?
Okay, so in the Boris Johnson case, our the parliament was prorogated for some time, but our judicial system said that was unjust. So our judicial system proved its efficiency by telling that it was unjust, and that was not the right thing to do. And now let's talk about the US constitutions, what type of judgments have been given by it. Let's say, do you know Citizens United versus FEC 2010? Unlimited corporate influence in the election. That means that there can be any corporate spending in the elections. For instance, in the presidential election, many billionaires, they kept their they bought their money and supported the candidate. So does this not bring the wealthy influence in politics? Can this not bring a political instability?
Very simple to counter you, my friend. I think you don't understand that some of the statements you're making about corporate funding of elections and national health policy of UK, they have nothing to do with the nature of your constitution. It can happen in any given country, be it a written constitution, be it unwritten constitution. It's not dependent on that. So let me just tell you and stop you right there. because that is the country's sovereignty to decide what kind of policies and funding it is going forward. That has nothing to do with your constitution. Now, when you talk about personal liberty and all these things, which is the topic of this discussion, let me remind you that in 2016 referendum on Brexit, Boris Johnson, the PM of UK, said something which was that the Parliament has the ultimate authority to decide on Brexit, not the people. Oh my God! You're talking about rights, you're talking about individuality, and then your Prime Minister is saying that the people are not sovereign. Where's the popular sovereignty in that? Oh my God! Oh, I remember now. Your Parliament is sovereign, not your people. Now, my question to you is that where is the political stability which the UK is so proudly upholding? Where is it?
There is an absolute supremacy in our system. Our houses are very coordinated, and we respond to urgency. In the USA, there have been so many cases like which are not been solved. For instance, LGBT cases and other type of cases, but we respond to urgency. We have passed we are in the Marriage Act 2013. Same-sex marriage is legal in our country, and also the healthcare is free in our country for the women, unlike your country where we have to pay the money from their own pocket. So I want to tell that our system is better as a whole. My question to you is, there have been many massacres in the USA since 2000, but there have not been even one since the gun law is banned in UK. So what do you think about the gun laws?
Yeah, the gun laws, my friend, in UK, in the Second Amendment, it was there. We amended the right to protection for individual. And let me remind you, this debate is about which constitution better ensures political stability and protects individual right. And over here, my constitution, my written constitution, it is clearly defining very good and safe gun laws for the people who can use guns in order to defend themselves. And I would like to say to you that in our country, in the constitution, in the federal system, where all the states are there, gun laws are very strictly written. But in gun laws are having so much of freedom for the people. Like you can possess guns, but in the state laws, in different states, like Chicago is having very stricter gun laws, and over there, you cannot possess firearm like any other state in US. So even it doesn't deter the crime. So it is totally for the safety of people, while in your country people are getting stabbed and people are not even feeling safe. There was a study where people have said that they have faced consistent terror threats, including 2017 Manchester arena bombing, leading to higher public fear levels. So how will you counter this, my friend Luke?
Okay, well, the US has the best political stability. So let me tell you, stable that an armed mob tried to overthrow its democracy on January 6, 2021. So stable that its government shuts down every few years because Congress can't agree on budget. So stable that 2 of its last 6 presidents lost the popular vote but still took office. Meanwhile, in the UK, no riots are needed to remove bad leaders. Just a vote of no confidence, and written federalism gives freedom. You mean states banning abortion, suppressing voters, and weakening gun laws at will? California and Texas might as well be two different countries, and gun laws. The UK has one of the lowest gun homicide rates in the world, while the US has mass shootings almost daily. A nation without a written constitution is nothing. You told that. Tell that to the US, that which has functioned for centuries longer than the US, adapting laws faster than a Supreme Court that takes years to fix basic human rights issues. The US takes time to implement laws. You were talking about that. Yes, so much time that it needed a civil war to fix slavery and still hasn't fixed racism. Let me ask you now a question. If the US is so politically stable, why did your own citizens attack your capital because they couldn't accept an election result? Over
Wow.
to you, team.
At least it is not like your UK where you are even protesting against your government by just standing in front of a legislature over there. You are not saying not my king, and you are getting detained and you are getting threatened to be prosecuted. You are not, even if you are protesting against the government, you are having the law that they are going to arrest you for being too loud. If you want to challenge an unfair law, they are going to overturn parliament decision. So this is not like anything which happens in US. Even if you can do protest, you are allowed to protest, and even we are going to give the people who are protesting against the ruling government police security over there so that they will not have any issues. We are going to listen to their demands, and protest could be little violent or something, but we are taking care of that it should not be so much violent, because if it is being violent, it might be because of some external entities, but even we are not arresting them, or even we are not threatening those people to not to protest, because protest is individual right in our book, and which ensures that our country is better ensuring political stability, and it protects the individual right. And I would like to ask you a question, ma'am. What is stopping a UK government from changing election rules, restricting rights, or expanding power whenever they want? If your system truly protects democracy, where are the checks and balances like we have?
Okay, so well, the UK has protests in front of Parliament. Yes, that's called democracy in action. Meanwhile, in the US, peaceful protests get tear gassed. If you remember BLM 2020 case, attacked by police or made with military force, and the US ensured protests don't become violent. Are you really joking with me? Like, you mean like if I'm talking about January 6, 2021, when your own citizens stormed the Capitol, killed officers, and carried a news for the vice president? Or do you mean the way armed groups like Proud Boys and militias freely roam in the streets with assault rifles? The UK doesn't need to take care of protests with military weapons because its government actually listens to grievances instead of crushing dissent. In the US, protests for human rights are labeled riots, while armed insurrections are called patriotism. That's not stability, it's selective authoritarianism. If Let me ask you the question: if the US takes care of protests, why do your own citizens need bulletproof vests just to march for the basic rights?
Wow. Okay, thank you for not answering my question. And yes, let me come to your January 6th. It was attack on democracy. It wasn't attack on it wasn't saying that it was a failure of democracy. So over there, no laws were changed by force like your UK. The legal system ensured consequences for the rioters. And what was the conclusion? The US Constitution prevented any real democratic breakdown. So that attack was just mere like 9/11 or any other terrorist attack or like that. But where your country lacks is you are having like totally unstable monarchy or authoritative government where democracy is not even peaceful. When protesters are just holding "Not My King" sign, they are arresting in 2023. Don't you think free speech should be protected, or is it only allowed when the government approves? But you don't.
Okay, so like you are saying that UK is so too rigid. That's really funny. Like,
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
guys,
you.
the time's up. Thank you. That was extremely good, wonderful arguments from both the teams. Before we move on to the third round, we have to decide with the team of two. Sri,
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that was truly uh like interaction of intellectuals. Some of the points that I mentioned. And I think audience know much more about that. They are having a discussion in the group already. One of the line I think Ram has posted in the group is said by Srinigami is separation of power is needed as absolute power corrupts absolutely. So I'm gonna make a note of this. I'll be ready. Okay. So have you got the question?
that was really a powerful argument. Those public rights and human rights, from the gun issues to the you have to wear your bulletproof vest for your basic protect for the rights. That was powerful speech. Yes. So you have to be very careful to protect yourself.
Yep. If I have to make fun of myself, then two points have like gun law, abortion law that I was already aware with. So in
Okay.
Hindi, yeah. It's more of like,
Sri, go on, ask your team who wants to participate in the 2% in the last round. Ask them, whoever wants to come up.
Okay, in my team, me and Shivansh and Shinigami.
Oh, so from
okay,
Team
from my
UK?
team.
Yes.
Okay, I will let know. Just a minute. Okay, so from my team, Money and Rook will come. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. From the Team UK, Money and Rook. From Team US, Shivans. Well, sorry. Guys, please come up with Team US.
So from Team US, okay, no.
I would first want to
Yes, sir.
clarify if I'm audible. Am I audible?
What is? Yes, Shinigami, you are audible, brother.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, but I guess, yeah, Falcon. Now, guys, just a minute.
Please tell us whoever is participating from Team US.
From Team US, it's Shivansh and Shinigami.
Okay, thank you, guys. From Team UK, Srishri, whoever is from your team.
Okay, guys. Yeah, so. Okay, yeah, we should proceed now then. Falcon?
So actually there is a surprise. Okay. So in the last debate we had one surprise, right? After the third round, but now we are going to have one surprise instead of third round. So Rook, Money, Shinigami, Shivansh, do you like surprises?
No,
Of
I
No.
course,
just
I
want
mean, they are
like
the
them.
best part of the life.
But you are there here. So I would like to call upon Nikhil to introduce that surprise to you people. Nikhil, over to you.
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So the twist is going to be very different, and maybe some people will be shocked after listening to me. But the twist is this: that in this final round, that is the third round of the debate, sides are being intertwined or swapped. This is the main twist of the debate. So, for example, Money and Duke, they were representing UK, United Kingdom, and Shivans and Sinigami, as per the earlier records, they were representing USA. But now, just because it is the requirement of the final twist, the sides are intertwined, and Money and Ryuk is going to favor USA, and Shivans and Sinigami is going to favor UK. Got it? Or should I repeat it again?
Yeah,
Fine.
got it.
Thank you. The best.
So what will be the timing for this or the format?
Yeah, we'll be telling that. Okay, wait. I'm audible?
Yes, Sri, you are audible.
Okay, that was definitely a twist and very interesting. So, yeah, we shall move to the third round and review the format, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The third round is
Yeah, the third round is scenario-based response.
yes. Here, each team has to select 2 spokesperson, which if judges have already decided, and then they had a twist about it. They have to speak about that in 4 minutes to respond to the given questions, or
Uh,
the questions will be
just,
given.
just okay. Sorry to interrupt, Falcon. Like already, the judges have introduced it. Pravanjan, can you mute yourself? Yeah. So I was saying already the judges have introduced the surprise factor, right? So we'll be having a straightforward debate of 12 minutes where the sides are going to be interchanged, where Team UK is going to represent Team USA and the USA is going to represent the Team UK. So we already have the teams and now we can get started. So we have Shinigami, and from USA we have Shinigami and Shivansh. From UK we have Mani and Ryuk. So we can get started.
Yeah, should we have to say that like I'm from Team UK over to you, Team US?
No.
That
No, now it's not needed.
okay. And
Let's
what will
get
be the
started
format?
then.
Just
Wait,
like 2v2 debate?
So, can you just repeat in very brief the twist? We're supposed to be speaking from the UK side, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
Right.
your sides are swept. So now you are
Okay, and
representing your opposition. Okay.
and this is like a 2v2 debate.
Yeah, it's 2v2 bit. It's similar to the previous round, but the only change is of the swapping of side.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. If things are clear now, so we can proceed the round.
It is clear. You are not audible, Mani.
Mani, I'm not speaking.
Okay, so from Team UK, I'm Shivansh, and I would like to ask you a question. Don't you think that rigid constitution means I'm from Team UK. I want to ask question to Team US. Don't you think that rigid constitution equals to outdated law? Like the US Constitution, it is over or nearly 230 years old, and it is almost very impossible for it to change, right? So if it is stuck, like in the modern time, we are having different world than what it was 230 years ago. Don't you think the right now, like whatever justice can be given, it is not true or it doesn't fit modern issues, whereas my country adapts seamlessly to the changing times?
Let me tell you one thing. When you say rigid, it has a lot of pros. It means you can change only when it is very important changes. It's not like you're just like in the morning and you want to make some changes and you are able to do it, right? That kind of flexibility does not come in case of codified constitutions. And that is one of the important things, because if you give the right, give so much flexibility of changing the constitution, if a popular leader comes in the power, he will make the changes which favors him. He can reduce the civil rights, he can increase the human rights violation, right? And he can add rules which put him in the power for the long term. So don't you think that is one of the problem in case of uncodified constitution, because it gives a lot of power to a leader, and if leader is popular, I mean, it can turn the country into a dictator country.
Not when you have a well-functioning civil society organizations. In my country, in UK, we have some very strong institutions, and our democracy is not just procedural, it's actually substantive. So the moment we have, and we also have very clear-cut, ideologically driven parties in the Westminster. Okay, so the moment we a despotic trend is seen, the election results are quite clear, and this was actually seen a few years ago when a political member in the Westminster voted by taking bribe, and I think it was a part of the Conservative government, and that government lost power for the next 10, 12 years. So our civil society organization is too strong for a despotic ruler to emerge. Now, my question to you is very, very simple. In a neoliberal world where national security and sovereignty is, changing, don't you think that a rigid constitution like yours, it gives you very less flexibility to determine the course of your action when you're facing a threat because you're not even flexible to, adopt or tackle any challenges?
If when you say facing a threat, and if there is something which is very serious, definitely the changes can be made by having the majority. There is a way to amend the laws in case of codified constitution, but that happens when it is very necessary. It is not something to tackle even small things. You make the law, you introduce a law. To win election, you can promise, oh, I will make this law to the people and win election, right? That kind of case is not there in case of rigid, right? That's one of the biggest advantage of you can say the rigid constitution, right? So here chances of kind of having a dictatorship is very less. Also, even if somebody is able to kind of make a law which violates the human rights or which is not serving the society or which is taking the country towards dictatorship, that law can be struck down by the judicial system, because here the judicial system has a top power, right? So which protect the constitution, which is not case in case of uncodified constitution. Anybody can make law in case of uncodified constitution.
Hey, Team US, I would like to ask a question, a simple question about the systems. Basically, in your country, judiciary is supreme, right? Judiciary is greater than parliament or Congress in your terms. So how you are going to ensure that something which is not a body which is not elected by the people, like the people are electing Donald Trump or any particular party, that is not actually having more powers than the judiciary out there, which is an unelected body. So how an unelected body is superior than the elected body?
So, in case of judiciary, they are not elected just so. It is just that it is recommended by our president, and after the president recommends it, then it's also been verified by the judicial council, and after that it's also been approved by the Congress. Then only it's appointed. So it's very safe and secured, and the ones who are being elected are elected on the basis of their experience. On the basis of the time they have served in the court. So there are many factors that come into play. Now, the question that I want to ask you is, the UK's constitution is very progressive. Yeah, we all know this. But there have been some new concepts that have been arriving in Europe, like euthanasia, assisted suicide. So even these type of things are being discussed to be adopted by the UK's constitution. So my question is, how will you ensure that your progressiveness does not impact these type of issues like euthanasia? Can you ensure that it won't go to more extent than this? For instance, it's only used for terminal illness right now. What if mental health patients also start asking for it?
Again, my friend, I do not understand how the structure of your constitution will be a determinant factor in legislating on the subject of euthanasia. We will have our parliament discuss the matter. We will have public experts, as we always do, to give the bill. We have very strong parliamentary committees to review the bill. And if we feel that it is fit to protect the individual rights and whatever the case might be, we will implement it. It's very simple, but it has nothing to do with your constitutional setup. Now, again, I will just say something very, very simple. I'll quote: "Democracy dies not with a bang, but with a gavel." Okay. So the thing is that in a democracy, whenever you have, as my teammate has pointed out, an unelected, judges reigning supreme over an elected parliament, you actually dismantle the popular sovereignty concept of democracy, which is continuously being done in the US when the words of the judiciary cannot be overturned by the parliament, by the Congress. Where is the democracy in that? That is just oligarchy.
I want to tell
Okay,
one thing.
just one thing.
Money, let me
Let's
answer this.
Rick.
Let me answer this. I want to tell one thing. You're saying that, like, how will the democracy be protected? Like, things like this. But I want to tell you that in our constitution, nothing can override the constitution. So if you talk about the protection of individual rights, if that overrides the constitution, then that cannot come under the play. And it's also very hard to amend. I agree with that. But it only amends the things that is very necessary. That is a necessity. But if it if it is not able to protect, if it is not ratified by the states, and if it is not totally logical, then it's never amended. But in the case of parliament, like in your UK, they just pass anything. Like the Boris Johnson case, in the Boris Johnson suspended the parliament. These type of things can never happen it can never happen in the USA. Don't you think so?
Yeah, Boris Johnson suspended the team parliament, but don't you think that in some cases where you are having situations of national threat, there are some insurgencies happening inside the borders of your country? If something unstable goes on, your military have to take action, or you have to, for the national security or for the defense of your security, how it is going to take immediate action because your people are going to die. And in my country, because of the parliamentary government, we can take decisions like just snap of fingers.
Okay, let me tell you that you talked about suspending the parliament just because to save the people, right? The country people. I think that can be also used as a tool to suspend when it is not necessary. If it is that flexible. I agree. When there is a threat to the citizen, it can be done. That's fine. But that can also be used when there is not real threat, but just to create hypothetical threats to be in the power. Other thing is, somebody said that we can make the elected government should make the rules for the majority, right? I think that's where you are going wrong. That's where the judicial system come. When the political system come in power, they always trying to please the majority because they want to be in the power, and they will make the rule which is suited for the majority and not suited for the minority, and that will exploit the minority. But in case of codified constitution, there is a judicial system which makes sure that any laws which is made and not serving all the citizens, they don't care about the majority or minority, they care about all the citizens, they will strike down the laws. And that's one of the base thing about the codified constitution. And the thing is, judges don't have any interest into striking down. I mean, they're not going to get anything. They're not going to be the prime minister or be the president of the country. They are just there to serve, and when their term ends, they will become the normal citizens, right? So, how do you kind of make sure that if courts cannot strike down unconstitutional law, how do you ensure that the government do not pass unfair or oppressive laws in case of uncodified constitutions?
As I've said, we had a very functioning democratic setup with civil society organizations and with very woke population of our country, which actually ensured that any despotic acts done by the parliament is paid for by not letting that party come into power again. And I gave you one example also when one of the MPs of our Westminster voted by taking bribe. Okay, and that then party didn't come to power for a while. Now, my question to you, my statement is that ever since the Vienna Congress in 1813, the British became the world hegemon, the great world powers for over 100 years, and that was because we were flexible enough to deal with whatever international relations problem that came our way. And in stark contrast, your constitution is so rigid that you were a superpower for less than 10 years. After 1991 till 2003 or 1, I think. Yeah. So
Okay,
less than 10
let me
years.
counter you. Let me counter one thing that you said, right? You accepted that the damage can be done, and you talked about the damage control. That's what I'm talking about. Once damage done, there are damage which can't be recovered.
Thank you, guys. That was wonderful and well-deserved applause for both of teams for their wonderful performance, even though they had a twist in the last ones. they managed to speak up very well. What do you think, Sri?
I would say a huge appreciation to Rook as well for reminding the participants and like maintaining the decorum. So, and yeah, of course, personally, I do feel everyone did their best. Both teams, very like that was already very intellectual, and it was more of like blessed 2 years, but beyond the comprehension. But that's up to judges. That was very personal. Okay, yeah, but we do have to
You know,
wait for the
Sri,
result.
yeah,
Yeah.
Sri, sadly, we have to wait for until tomorrow to get the results, as the debate was too intense. The judges have to decide who has to be the winner, and then they have to have some times.
Yep, definitely.
Meanwhile, you can ask about what the audience may think, what the listeners have. They have to say something. Whoever wants to say something, please raise your hands.
Yeah, I want to say one thing, that this switcheroo one, it was crazy. It was killer. So whoever comes up with this idea, kudos to you, and it was really great experience.
And the most craziest
Um,
thing is you guys handling it much more better way. Yeah, please.
I wanted to just acknowledge how well Ryuk did. I mean, I was just very impressed, and I just wanted to state it out loud. I mean, had काफी very obvious improvements in Ryuk. So very well done, Ryuk.
Yeah, bro.
Thank you so
It
much,
was
guys. Thank you so much for motivating me. It was my first time, and it could have never been possible with you guys not being in it. And you guys are my inspiration. Sivans, Sinigami, Anam, also Mani.
Yeah, and Money is my inspiration, actually. Money, bro, is my senior.
Is it? What's
Yeah, bro. I always look up to you in debates. Like, I respect you. I feel you are superior than me, and you are a great debater, man.
Yeah, thanks for the kind words. I mean, everybody is doing best, and everybody did best. I think that was the best part of the debate. And
Yes.
I mean, like everybody maintained the decorum, and there was not like, somebody shouting or
Yeah.
disrupting the
To be
decorum.
honest,
So
like,
that's the best part.
what your team thinks, bro? Which team deserves victory?
Not so soon, guys. You have to wait until tomorrow.